Good morning, everyone. I thought today I would take some time, even though it's a Saturday, to talk a little bit about hypervigilance, trauma, and ADHD. I chose this morning to go for a hike at the battlefields in Manassas, Virginia, where the Civil War started, because I like to hike. I grew up doing Volksmarching in Germany, which are extended hike walks 6 to 10 kilometers or longer. Enjoy them a whole lot, and as an adult and coming back to the United States, I've just always enjoyed hiking. Weirdly enough, though, today is the first time, as far as I can remember, that I've ever decided to go for a walk by myself. And it was a perfect day. This morning was nice and cool for a change after all the heat. It was only 50 degrees. So I threw on a sweatshirt and took off. What I learned while I was moving around is that when I'm walking by myself, it's particularly stressful for me because ADHD is managed right now for the most part, but my hypervigilance isn't. And that is due to trauma throughout my life. So I'm always looking around to see what is where, what is a potential threat. And it can be exhausting, but when I'm in a group of people, I can confine that to what is the immediate threat to the group rather than to me personally or to a specific individual. And I can usually keep that tamped down. Today I couldn't, though. I got about 3 miles into the hike and realized that my stress levels were going way over, and I started walking on the highway rather than in the trails and in the forest because it was more calming, even though it was a more dangerous situation, because I could narrow my scope of focus dramatically to what was a danger and what wasn't. And people who experience hypervigilance, this is common for them. And it's something that I've never talked about before because it's just not something I normally discuss openly with people. But it's something that needs to be discussed more. People who experience long-term trauma or significant trauma in their life do develop some form of hypervigilance, especially if they're on the neurodivergent scale, or if they're military and have seen combat, or first responders, or people who have been sexually assaulted. There's a whole bunch of reasons you can develop it. So how do you manage hypervigilance and not let it overtake your life? Well, part of it is self-awareness. You have to recognize that you're experiencing it and you need to deal with it. Did I make the correct choice by walking out onto the road to relieve my stress? That could be argued, probably not the best. I could have found a bench or something and sat down and just taken time to refocus and recenter. But sometimes you have to do what is best for you to get through that process. Obviously, therapy and talking to others is something that works the best. Sometimes, though, it's a matter of finding where you can find your peace and moving forward from there. I will continue my hike. I am sitting down to discuss this with y'all so that you can see what it looks like when you're on that verge. I will listen to the birds. I will watch the clouds move through, and then I will resume my hike. And I will manage it and have a good day, because that's sometimes what you need to do to get through it. Something to think about. Y'all have a good day.